You're tuned in to Steve Megatron on Altered Geek Unlimited.
Hello and welcome to Altered Geek Unlimited. I'm your host, Steve Megatron Phillips, and joining me this week is...
somebody who's not a complete bitch, Mike the Birdman Dodd.
The other Mike is the weakest link.
Yes, because evidently someone doesn't know how to take a friggin' Benadryl, or doesn't know how to use the shower function to steam a room. You know,
I use Benadryl, that's why they invented it. I actually took one before the show.
Oh my god, I know something that'd clear him out, but it might kill him. Ghost peppers. He'll never taste anything again, but he'll never worry about sinus problems again either. I'm just saying. It's awesome.
It'll burn those nose hairs.
Oh my god, it'll burn his ass hairs coming out, man. I've had a ghost pepper once. I stuck my head inside. Okay. I was at a friend's restaurant, and he obviously ran the place. So, hey Mike, try this. Me being an idiot and being so trusting, why sure. So I walk over, take a bite, death. I stick my head inside his freezer and immediately start licking the nearest thing of ice cream. So I had a whole big giant tub of ice cream to myself, just licking it, thinking, "This is so mad." And he's like, "Mike, you're gonna pay for that." I'm like, "No, I'm not, because you're an asshole." I never did end up having to pay for it, but goddamn, that was a lot of ice cream that went to waste. It really hurt. But anyway.
So yes, what has been new with you?
Let me see. Not a whole hell of a lot, actually. Well, I guess that's not entirely true. Went to the doctors this week. Finally getting a new doctor, and I'm going to be making some pretty significant changes to my life in the next year and change. So hopefully this means I'll be around on good old planet Earth a lot longer. So taking my health a lot more seriously now. And kind of looking forward to it. Not looking forward to some of the big dietary changes coming up, but I guess I'm going to have to learn to live without pop in my near future, or soda anyway. Let me see what else. Other than that, I'm still doing stuff for Video Game Sophistry, which you can hear on Toronto's AM 640 Sundays at 7 p.m. Actually, as of this recording, I'm actually working on my next article for the website. I'm writing about video game collector's editions, and I'm writing about Aliens Colonial Marines. That game was shit, but it had a really good collector's edition. You can find it relatively cheap, too, if you look around at, EB Games and GameStop. I think I've seen it as cheap as, $10 before. And it's worth it for the statue alone. So, yeah, that's pretty much what I've been doing. Just a lot of writing, doing more stuff for the Terrible Warriors roleplay podcast. I'm going to be doing Ravenloft for D&D 5th edition because the Curse of Strahd came out last month from Wizards of the Coast. And also trying to write the game for the month like we always do. One long-form campaign, one short-form campaign. I'm currently writing Sailor Moon Dragon Ball Z and trying not to make it stupid.
Back when I was in middle school, we wrote Dragon Ball Z Mega Man X.
I can't even fathom how that would work. Or at least
my buddy wrote most of it, and then I had to finish off the saga, but it actually works really well.
Oh, I've got some ideas, and my one buddy, Derek, who's one of the other game masters on the podcast, he's a huge Sentai fan. I think he's talked me into having Kamen Rider into this universe as well. So I'm like, okay, whatever. So yeah, we're gonna have Sailor Jupiter, Kamen Rider fighting Vegeta at some point. So this will be interesting if I can pull it off. So
I'll have to send you the fanfics of the Dragon Ball Z Mega Man X stuff. It's actually pretty interesting.
Man, had my game not been full up, I should have asked you to come in on this as a Dragon Ball character. Damn it. Next time.
Next time on Dragon Ball Z.
Oh, it's gonna be so good, Steve. So good. Actually, I need to talk to Kyle A. Bear, see if he'll do some of my kind of voiceover for it, because I think that'd be great.
That'd be funny.
But anyway, so yeah, that's what I've been up to.
As for myself, we had to write a log line and a step out line for our TV pilot that we have to write for our screenwriting class. We're down to the kind of last few weeks. We have to write character bios next, which I'm almost done with, and then the actual 60-page pilot, which should be fun. And then I got to get it like kind of copywritten after that so that I can actually send it out as like a sample of what I can do. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I did that. Currently have the GCRN top 50 video game franchise thing going on.
Which, the fact that I'm not involved in this blows my mind.
Well, it's not that you aren't involved. It's in the nomination stages right now.
Oh, okay.
It's not actually being recorded
Oh,
yet.
okay, good. Say, how the hell do you have this without me?
So it's going to be the top 50 and how it works, and I'm kind of breaking it down every week on the show to kind of explain it. But it's instead of having these video games show up like 5-6 times in a top 100, like you might have 3 Halos show up, 4 Battlefields, 3 Arkhams, and so on for whatever franchise it might be. It's a lot easier to do them by franchise entirely instead of, because then you have to rate them based on all of their aspects instead of doing, instead of having like, you might have an abundance of some individual games of those that people like more than others, and I was trying to avoid those pitfalls.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's in the nomination stages right now. We don't have that many nominees in there yet, but like as I posted on there, we're at least requiring at least 10 franchises to go in there, because I understand not everybody knows 50 franchise games. I myself did like 43, so yeah, that's what partially what's been going on. The other part of the issue is I've been having server problems on GeekCast Radio, so if you're noticing any issues on the website, it is not my fault. The current web host is claiming originally that it was something on our end, as far as the plugins and as far as some of the features on the site, to which I responded, I've had no problems up until now, and come to find out they upgraded their server from a 32-bit to a 64-bit system. And something along the way got screwed up, because I'm not the only one with the issue. Mm-hmm. And I've gained some new friends on Twitter through this, because we've all been having the same issues going back and forth, because either it comes back with a database connection issue or a memory issue or something else entirely where it just doesn't work. And the only reason it was bothering me was because I was in the middle of posting press releases that I'd gotten. Mm-hmm. And one of my top 25 lists, and this whole site went down.
Oh.
And it was out for predominantly most of yesterday, and then most of today, and then so yeah, it came back. But thankfully, I'm working on a new version of the site on another host. Actually, the same one you guys use.
Yay!
It's a new version of the site. It's totally new theme, new everything. I actually have been slowly importing things over little by little. I have yet to finish that, and then I can destroy the old site and go from there. But yeah, so that's been fun that I've been having to deal with lately. On top of that, we are now sponsored by Loot Crate.
Really?
Yes, and obviously, it's a monthly subscription box service. So for less than $20 a month, you get the 6 to 8 items that include licensed gear, apparel, collectible, unique, one-of-a-kind items, with the $40+ worth of items in that box. So if you sign up with the coupon code TBV to save 15% on your first box, by going to lootcrate.com/GCRN, this month's theme is Quest. which actually kind of fits in with your terrible warriors of quests.
I was about to say, if when you get your loot crate, whatever the exclusive D&D item is, name your price. Because I like to collect all the D&D 5th edition stuff, so...
Because they have listed, it says, form a party to explore everywhere from far-off kingdoms to worlds hidden within worlds with exclusive items from Labyrinth, Harry Potter, History Channel's Vikings, and Uncharted 4. Although it also shows on their website, like, you know, technically Star Trek would fall into a quest. Lord of the Rings would fall into a quest, you know, D&D, that kind of stuff. So who knows what's in the box? But it does sound interesting. And it comes with t-shirt and loot pin and... other stuff. So this box closes April 19th.
So next Tuesday.
So then they'll have a new box. So you'll have to stay tuned to hear what that box is. So yeah, that's that. So we'll be back after a quick break.
You're listening to the Altered Geek News Network.
And we're back. So getting into the Altered Geek News Network, we'll be talking about the latest Hollywood whitewashing. I mean, Ghost in the Shell. I mean...
where do I start with this? Now, I like Scarlett Johansson. I do too. I think she's a brilliant actress. She's obviously proven her chops in the action movie genre, but she should not be playing Major Motoko Kusanagi. Now, if you saw the pictures from the Japanese theater production, like the live action stage show of Ghost in the Shell, they nailed that casting perfectly. This, I don't know, like who the hell are you gonna have as Bateau? Fucking like Jeremy Renner or something? Like, no, this is not good. You could have adapted any million other cyberpunk properties.
Now, I will preface this with, and you're not going to be surprised when you hear this. It's okay. It's got Scarlett Johansson playing it, which, you know, she did Lucy, which was a similar type of, you know, kind of sci-fi high tech. Yeah. So they got Rupert Sanders, the director from Snow White and the Huntsman, directing this. Okay, so it's the producers is where it's going to kill you. It's produced by Avi Arad, the guy that did the Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2, and Iron Man. The only thing that's good on his record there is Iron Man. He's got Ghost Rider, Spirit of Vengeance on his record too, and then they've got Stephen Paul, also a producer, who did Ghost Rider, Spirit of Vengeance, and then they got a producer from Prometheus, and one from like Tekken.
How do you screw this up? Like, literally, it sucks though, but I also cannot think of anybody. Actually, no, that's not true. I'm trying to think who you could cast as the Major, who's a leading Asian female woman who would work, who looks like her. I would probably cast an unknown, because I think Ming Na is a little too old to play the Major, but then again, it depends on when you set this in the Ghost in the Shell universe, but I presume she'd be pretty young. Mm-hmm. But still, this...
They could have almost gotten Quake or Daisy from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. to play that.
That's not bad. That wouldn't...
Because she's already proven she can play an action role, and it would kind of give her a breakout, like, film role. And she would fit the look more.
Yeah, like Scarlett Johansson, she's very obviously Caucasian, whereas Chloe, I can't remember what the hell the rest of her name is.
Bennett.
Bennett. She could probably pull it off, but yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying that's a perfect choice, but that would be a one-up from where we're at right now.
Yeah, it's like Emma Stone playing someone Hawaiian. Like, who the hell sat on this cast? Like, just, geez.
That was pretty bad.
Like, and I'm just wondering how the hell they're going to go through the rest of the cast from Ghost in the Shell, because these names aren't exactly Jimmy, John, and James. We're talking Saito, Bateau.
See, and I know nothing about this franchise. But I know enough to know that, like, I mean, I've seen images enough to know that this isn't really the way it should have
Like,
gone.
seriously.
And by the fan outrage, I can tell also too.
If you want to check out Ghost in the Shell, check out the original 1995 movie. It's really cool. And watch the Ghost in the Shell standalone complex series, not the new series, which I can't remember what it's called, but it kind of sucks. But the standalone complex series is phenomenally well done. It's so cool.
But yeah, so that's our latest Hollywood casting complaint.
It's like making Goku white. It makes no sense.
Yeah, that was pretty stupid too. I don't know why they do that. Like, and then you get to the instance where, like, you know, who's the guy from the new Marvel show that everybody was throwing a fit about, that they were saying should have been diversified.
Oh,
that was clearly Caucasian
Iron
for that
Fist. Role. Yeah, the guy from Game of Thrones, the guy who plays Sir Loras or something.
Yeah, and the character's supposed to be Caucasian because of his character arc, and people were complaining that he couldn't be something else. And then those are probably the same people complaining about this being the opposite.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember whether Danny Rand was Asian or whether he was white. I'm not sure. I'm not familiar.
Well, they were saying that he was Caucasian because he was supposed to be from a rich, well-off family.
Yeah, I mean, and I've got no problem with roles being diversified because I really liked having Michael B. Jordan as Johnny Storm. I thought that was one of the pluses of...
I think that was the only plus of that film.
I like the...
And then you had, you know, Sam Jackson as Nick Fury. So, I mean, again...
Yeah.
It can work in the right situation.
Exactly. Just in this case, I don't know. I'm going to hold judgment until I see at least a first look trailer. But...
So I think going on with more complaining, we could go to James Cameron.
Yes. In the realm of why?
Well, yeah, he's got Avatar 2 slated for 2018 and then another one in 2020, 2022, and 2023, which, why announce this when, the last movie came out in 2012?
Not even, like 2009. I'm pretty sure I saw this when I was in college.
You're probably right.
Yeah.
I honestly, like, I saw the movie. I didn't see it in IMAX, but I really didn't care to.
I saw it in IMAX.
And it did come out in 2009. But I have no ambition to watch this series.
I saw it once or twice. I saw it once in 3D, saw it once in IMAX, and then I bought the home video version, which was really weird. For a long time, you couldn't buy the home 3D version unless you got it exclusively through, like, a furniture retailer. Like, you had to buy it if you had, like, one of these Ultra 3D TVs. That's the only way you could get it. Now you can just get it at, like, friggin' Best Buy. But the world of Avatar, it doesn't seem that interesting. Like, it doesn't, like, I don't feel the need to revisit that fictional universe. I mean, yes, we're in space looking for...
Unobtainium?
I hate saying that word. I hate that word. I
hate it too. It's lazy.
But, like, the blue Thundercat Smurf people, whatever the Navi or whatever the hell.
The Navi.
Yeah, like, I don't feel the need to go back. And randomly they're going to resurrect Sigourney Weaver and they're going to give Sam Worthington his career back, I guess. Like, you know what? I'm pretty sure they put him in cryogenic storage and they only pull him out for, like, Avatar sequels or, like, hey, Sam, do you want to come out and play something cool? Okay. And then when they're done, they just put him back in the freezer. Yeah, this, like, honestly, James Cameron, you want to impress me? You really want to make your mark on Hollywood again?
Make a new Terminator movie that actually is worth a damn.
Yeah, do another Terminator that makes goddamn sense and direct another Aliens movie. Give me the true sequel to Aliens. Let's wipe out that crap stain that is Aliens Colonial Marines, because according to Fox and James Cameron himself, that's canonical. So, no, let's give me a true sequel. Let's bring the story forward 20 years with Hicks and Ripley and all them, and let's figure something out. Lance Henriksen is still alive. We can make this work. But no. Blue, Thunder Smurf, people, I don't care. And that sucks, because James Cameron should be a director. When he speaks, you should care. When he announces Avatar sequels, nobody cares.
I think it's because it's too little too late. If he would have hit the ground running and had, been shooting the other ones back then.
Well, it's just, I don't think the franchise has that much depth to it. I mean, I can appreciate him trying to create the Na'vi language and trying to create a world that we want to get invested in. The problem is there wasn't a lot there. Like, basically, Avatar is Dances with Wolves, but with mech suits. And no Kevin Costner. But still, I don't know. I feel no need to go back to wherever the hell their planet is.
Speaking of another place we don't need to go back to, Indiana Jones 5. They want to continue from, and it wants to be a continuation of the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull story.
So would they bring him into the 60s then?
They're talking about 70s.
Okay, so Harrison Ford will be in his 90s by the time this gets off the ground.
Yeah, they're going to start shooting it soon, I guess.
I'm trying to figure what they could do. Okay, so he's fought Nazis. He's fought Indian cultists. Nazis again. Aliens. And Russians. Who's left? Cubans? More communists? Like, where do you go from here? Like,
Vietnamese?
Oh my god. Okay. In my perfect world, Steve, Indiana Jones and the Call of Cthulhu. You put Dr. Jones into Relay, and I am there day one. If you can have him fight Cthulhu monsters, I'm so there. Otherwise, don't care.
I guess Spielberg is going to be directing it, so they're saying it's going to be for a March 2018 release.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. But then again, it's not like he has any more Star Wars commitments anymore.
Nope, they're saying won't start until 2018 at the earliest for shooting. Which by that time, Harrison Ford would be 77.
Oh my god, so he'll break a hip long before then.
Yeah, because he might be back on the Falcon again.
Ugh. Well, I hear they're talking about casting a new Han Solo. There's been some buzz around it. I've seen the picture of the guy, and he looks all right.
Well, they're talking about that they might have him in Rogue One.
I'd be okay with that.
For like towards the end, not really a significant part of the film.
Yeah, I'd be okay with that. Now, would it be digital Han Solo or live action Han Solo?
I think it's going to be live action.
I can hear my wife in the other room just repeating odd words that I say. She just went, Han Solo! It's really weird. It's kind of weirding me out.
No, it's Ham Solo.
Ham Solo.
That's what someone called me once. He meant to call me Han, and he called me Ham. I'm thinking, that's great. I'm Pizza the Hut and Ham Solo.
Pizza the Hut committed suicide when he ate himself.
It's the fat joke that writes itself. Oh, and she also made another slip this week. I decided at some point I'm going to release an album of stand-up comedy, right? I know what my album's going to be called. Cautionary Whale. Because I'm a fat guy, right? Get it, fat? You know.
It's just so wrong.
But when Blair said that to me, I'm like, wow, you're a bitch.
By the way, I like your Facebook image that you posted earlier. By like 15 minutes.
I do try.
Where somebody's getting punched by the Hulk.
Oh, Donald Trump, you stupid bastard.
He's opening his mouth, and then Hulk just leans over and just bashes him off the screen like he did to Thor in the first Avengers. And everybody's like, I could watch this GIF forever. Oh, wow. So, moving on to something else. Doctor Strange.
This looks weird.
But amazing.
It's got me interested. Because
I've never cared for this character, though, like, before this. And I actually, like, this is one role I think Benedict Cumberbatch will actually be good at.
Like, this is a character I don't know a whole lot about. I know the basic gist of it. But I'm wondering, like, who's the bad guy? And I know they've talked about, like, Baron Mordo, and they got the guy from, like, Bates Motel or Hannibal or something. Something Nicholson or something. He plays in it now. I'm hoping it's Dormammu or something. But if this is Marvel's weird movie, if this is their horror movie, this could be really awesome. And I like the fact that in the trailer they're talking about bending reality. So
it almost reminds me of like an Inception meets Matrix.
Yeah, that's kind of the vibe I was kind of getting from it too. Which means when this movie ties into the Infinity War storyline, this movie's clearly the reality gem, which will be the heart of whatever Thanos wants to get his hands on. So I'm really curious to see where they're going to take this, because I know in Winter Soldier they did name drop Dr. Stephen Strange. So this will be his origin story somewhat.
But it'll take place before.
Yeah, so I'm curious to know what's going to happen in this movie, and the fact that we have to wait less than like 8 months. So that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, I watched this when it came out the other day. I'm actually pretty excited about it, and I'm not really. And as I've mentioned before, I'm more of a DC fanboy than a Marvel.
Well, after Batman v Superman.
Well, I still enjoyed aspects of it. I still say that Batman, Alfred, and Wonder Woman were the best parts of that film.
I like the jar of pee.
You like the exploding room. I mean, what was I talking about?
And I also loved it when Superman killed people with an AK-47. I can make fun of that movie for friggin' hours. But anyway, which if you want to see us do that, this week in Geek.net, that's our topic show for this month. But yeah, I mean, Marvel, they're gonna continue the win streak. Actually, as of this recording, they're doing fan screenings for Civil War.
I want to be a part of that.
Which means they clearly know they've got a winner on their hands. Now, there were fan screenings for Batman v Superman, and they were incredibly positive. And then the critics got a hold of it, and it was throwing, a rat into a friggin' lion cage. But critics love Civil War. The fans are going to love it. You're going to see hell. In fact, it wouldn't surprise me if you see spoilers on Reddit tonight about it. Like, I'm really looking forward to seeing what Marvel pulls out with this. I'm curious to know what the post-credit sequences are for Civil War, how it ties into Doctor Strange. Like, man, it's a good time to be a comic book nerd.
Yeah.
And then next month, we have X-Men Apocalypse 2, so...
Yeah, I don't care as much about, but...
I don't know, man. I'm getting Psylocke. I've been wanting to see that character on screen since I was a kid. That and Olivia Munn is she's my second wife, Just saying.
Yeah, that's because you watched her on...
Attack of the Show.
Yeah.
For many, many years.
G4.
I miss those days.
I miss Tech TV.
We still have it in Canada, though it's called G4, yet all it shows is...
Our reruns?
Yeah, our reruns of really unusual shows, like Cops, Cheaters, and Man Tracker, which is a show where they have some dude on a horse track people for like 36 hours, and if you win, you just get bragging rights. Otherwise, yay, I caught you. The end. Whatever.
But yeah, definitely looking forward to Doctor Strange. But keeping with the Marvel vibe, what is your thoughts on the new Spider-Man Homecoming? I don't know if you've seen the graphic, but the title Homecoming.
I like the idea. It kind of reminds me of a throwback to the 1960s to early 70s vibe from it. And when you look at the new costume we saw with Civil War, it's got that sort of Steve Ditko inspired look. So I'm happy. Like, I think it looks cool. I know they're talking about potentially having Michael Keaton, aka Batman / Birdman, play potentially the Vulture, which is great. I'm always keen to see different iconic Spider-Man villains, ones that aren't friggin' Harry Osborn. So this is going to be cool. And I can totally see how Keaton would play into that. I mean, I'm trying to think of what the Vulture's real name is. Something Toombs. I want to say Eugene, but I'm pretty sure that's the
No, it's not. It's man.
Don't
It
tell me
starts
that's
with an A.
90s.
It starts with an A.
But yeah, I mean, it's going to be great. And I hear Tom Holland does a really good job in Civil War with Spider-Man. Like, he's in it. He's 10 minutes as Parker, 20 minutes as Spidey, and you really get a sense for what he can do with the character. So I'm looking forward to this, and this is going to be shooting fairly soon, isn't it?
Yeah, and by the way, to answer your question about the Vulture, his name is Adrian Toombs, which I was right. I knew it started with an A. They're talking that they're going to have some of the Avengers show up.
I wouldn't surprise me. As
Iron Man's one of them.
See, I kind of wonder if he'll give him the like Iron Spider suit, or maybe some kind of an upgrade to.
I think you're going to see that in Civil War.
That would be kind of cool.
Which is why we have the mechanized eyes.
Yeah, I could see that. I'm not sure who I'd want to see show up. Actually, you know what? If I could have a cameo in Spider-Man Homecoming, I would love to see Punisher and Daredevil. Even if it was only for a scene.
They said that they're not going to connect.
I know. It makes me so sad. Or at least if they can throw them a bone somehow. That's what I want. Because I think Daredevil and Spider-Man would make a great team up. Oh my god. Hell, if you could even have... Hell, if the next movie was like the Punisher hunting Spider-Man, I'd be down for that.
Mm-hmm.
Because John Bernthal's a badass, man. That guy's a BAMF. Hardcore.
Yeah. I'm kind of interested to see how that movie's going to turn out with, and who all is going to be cast as what.
I'm just waiting to see Uncle Ben die for the 5th time.
I heard that they aren't going to do that this time.
They're going to have to during the like opening credits somehow. It'll be like a montage, obviously.
Like they did with BVS?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's how it's going to happen. Because you know what? Yeah, everybody knows the Spider-Man story, but they still have to do it for the one random person who doesn't.
So, moving on to the next thing that is going to be the meat and potatoes of the show. The new Star Trek TV show, which will be set before the next generation. And it's not the J.J. Abrams reboot verse.
Thank God for that. Abrams, you got Star Wars now. You can just go. This is going to be great. This could be potentially really cool. Like, we're really going to see the Federation in its real prime. We're going to see, like, just so many interesting things. We're going to see, like, how the cooperation with the Klingons works out during, right? We're going to see, I want to say there was like a Tholian war at some point, like in just before TNG started.
No, there was it was a Klingon, it was not a Klingon, it was the Romulans.
Yeah.
That's why the Enterprise C was destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
Is because it had something to do with that. But it also means that you could see, like, well, one, they've got all those red, military suits, which to me were the best suits in Star Trek history, from like the Undiscovered Country, the TOS films.
Yeah.
It is going to take place after Generations, but before the next generation. So it leaves a lot of stuff in there. I hope they don't do like young Picard or any of those people in the show. I hope they go for an entirely new cast or new crew and new ship.
The rumor is it's going to be anthology. So each season's going to be a new story and potentially a new crew, even new like timeline.
See, I could see that working really well, because if they did that, then it would allow the gaps in the Prime universe to be filled.
Yeah, I mean,
that weren't taken care of. Like, you could do You could do this era, so you could do,
Post Voyager if you wanted to.
yeah, you could do a post Voyager, you could do a pre TOS but post Enterprise, like something in there with like Captain Robert April, on the Enterprise before Pike had it.
Yeah, like there's so many possibilities. I mean, basically, it's American Horror Story but with Star Trek.
And see, I could see that working really well because it seems like the shows that people like right now are the ones that kind of get a fresh start every season.
Yeah, kind of like True Detective, American Horror Story, etc., etc. Yeah, like I think there's gonna be some real kind of legs on this. And you and I called it, Steve, 2 years ago. We said on Future Imperfect, if they did this, it would work. Maybe they listened to us. Wouldn't that be weird?
That would be awesome.
They'd be like, yeah, we heard this random podcast. That was us. But yeah, and one of the things I hope they don't do is randomly cram cameos in there for the sake of cameos.
Yeah, I think that would be one of the beautiful things about if they did, the anthology. If they're starting with the post Undiscovered Country and pre Next Generation, theoretically they could get some of the actors that are still alive, but there would be no reason for it.
Or another thing that they could do if they wanted to, if they don't think it's strong enough for a full series, you could literally, okay, Michael Dorn, you wanted your Captain Worf? Here's a season. Go nuts.
Yeah.
Or
that would be actually cool too. But I mean, you could have like a time period where, it's like after All Good Things, like as if they didn't fix the timeline.
Oh yeah, you could set a season in the Mirror Universe.
Because, well, I mean, not even the Mirror Universe. You could have it in like the TNG where they had the triple nacelle Enterprise.
Yeah.
And then you could have Old Man Riker, Old Man Picard, Old Man, and they would fit perfectly because their ages are about where they would be. So they could still come back and reprise their roles for another season.
I would love to see something along the same lines as Star Trek Renegades. Give me a Section 31 season.
See, and this would allow them to switch it up every season and not do the same thing twice.
Yeah, I mean, like, you could even have, like I know you and I talked about this before. We could have, like, that Star Trek medical drama. I mean, you could have, like, a frontier doctor going out to the Gamma Quadrant. Hell, you could find out what happens to people like Odo and stuff like that. Like, there's so many possibilities for them to open this up and really welcome people back into the Trek universe who felt spurned by the Abrams verse, and welcome people who maybe don't want to catch up on 20 years of history, or sorry, on like 50 years of history.
Now, one thing that they could still do, they could have John Delancey show up.
Man, yeah, he should almost be a reoccurring person throughout each season. Hell, he could even,
because he could play Q, and then you could have Data show up too.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be friggin' great. I mean, there's so many possibilities for them to do.
This, if they did sorry for cutting you off, but if they did the post Undiscovered Country, they could have Commodore Worf, which was Worf's great grandfather.
Yep.
They could have him show up still because it could be the same actor that played both, so they could have him show up and be a prominent part.
Mm-hmm. Like, if they don't screw this up, it'll be quite good. I don't like the fact that it's going to be exclusive to online, which I still think is really, really going to hurt it.
But my teacher, because I had a conversation with him about this when we were talking about it originally, when he was talking about channels having exclusivity apps and streaming services. And I said, I'm a huge Star Trek fan, but I just can't see myself paying for CBS All Access a monthly charge when I'm already paying for like Netflix and then, a partial cable bill. So, I mean, I just, as much as I want to see it, I just don't see myself spending it. And I think that could hurt it because it's going to cost people extra to see it that may want to see it on television. And he was saying, but if you're a diehard Trekkie, you're going to pay for it. And I said, that may be true. I said, but I just can't see myself paying for it, which means that there might be other geeks out there like me that will not do that as well. But at the same time, I don't want to see Star Trek falter because it hasn't been on television in 11 years.
I think that... I'm trying to think. I lost my train of thought there. I think with the way things are moving now, a lot of people are cutting the cord anyway. I still think they should partner up with a service like Netflix or Hulu, because I don't think the Star Trek fan base is large enough for them to fully prop up.
But CBS is the biggest network that isn't a part of any of those.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it'd be interesting to see what their subscriber numbers are afterwards. I mean, I border hop with my VPN, so I'm gonna watch this and I'll find some way to pay for it. Although Netflix has finally caught up to me, so now I no longer have access to American Netflix. Yet Hulu still works. Fuck. Hey, tangent. I'm really mad because the day my VPN stopped working is the day they added Animaniacs to Netflix.
Oh, that sucks, dude.
But now there's a website Blanchard showed me. It's called...
Yep, he showed it to me the other day.
I was like, oh my god. And the cool thing about this is I found out it works on Xbox One. I can stream all my stuff and just watch it. Oh my god. Like, literally, I don't have to leave the house anymore. I can watch the Police Academy cartoon. Life Fleet. Anyway.
You know, they have such a huge archive on that site, too.
My god, may they reign for 1,000 years.
I'm surprised it's still online, honestly.
If anybody screws with these people, they're never going to find the body. That's all I'm saying. Not that you know what? No, fuck yes. I support this illegal crap because they don't have it available on DVD or Blu-ray. Some of them. Clearly, I can walk down the Best Buy and get this, but still, whatever.
But if you're wanting to watch some to figure out if you like it or not,
yeah, like, but
then legitimately buy them.
Yeah, exactly. To jump back to like Star Trek, I mean, I want to see what those numbers are going to be like, and I hope they're strong enough to support a second season. I hope they're strong enough to support a second season on broadcast or available via a more accessible service, sort of thing. Because if you want to stream this on CBS Now, that means you have to use like your Apple TV or your Roku or whatever. I don't know. I want to have as many eyes on this thing as possible. That's what I want. And as long as that can happen, then great. I don't want this thing to be a one and done experiment and that's it because it's Trek's 50th anniversary. I want this to be enough to relaunch the franchise into relevancy again, because Abrams has done an up and down job so far. Trek 2009 was good. Into Darkness was shit. This one, Beastie Boys sabotage.
Well, Beastie Boys has been a staple of the series.
Well, yeah, I mean, clearly, you know, ill communication in TNG. Like, no. But I think it's Simon Pegg directing this one, or he wrote it.
No, he wrote it. Justin Lin is doing.
So I'm
directing. It's Fast and the Furious in space.
So I'm okay with Simon Pegg writing it. I trust him. Justin Lin?
Well, it's going to come down to the writing.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to wait and see what happens. I'm cautiously optimistic, but we'll wait and see.
Yeah, but I am looking forward to this new Star Trek show. So there's a lot of possibilities they could run with this. You know, they could do a post-Dominion War, as this article says too. So I mean, you could still have Benjamin Crazy Sisko show up at some point, and Old Lady Janeway. You know. So I mean, there's a lot of room to play in the Star Trek universe, especially in the Prime universe. The only thing I wonder is if they're going to take into consideration the fact that the Star Trek Online is canon.
Probably not.
Because I mean, even if they did, there's still plenty of room to play because most of our familiar crew fades out during the Star Trek Online timeline. You know, Spock disappears so that he would be in the alternate universe. You know, you have Data, that's the head of the Enterprise F, at least initially, or the E, and then he goes to, then there's the F, and then somebody else is captain. So they could actually jump to the Enterprise F if they went past that point and have, you know, Data show up, you know, as a consultant.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think he becomes head of Starfleet. I'm not sure, but yeah, there's a lot of wiggle room in the Star Trek universe that this would easily make it much more fun. Plus, if they did 13 episode seasons, we could get a lot more for the buck that they're spending.
Mm-hmm.
So, any other thoughts you'd like to bring up soon?
I'm trying to think if there's anything else really that this week that kind of grabbed my attention. Oh, evidently Sony Pictures has officially announced Men in Black and 21 Jump Street.
You know that was a credits gag on the second film,
yeah,
right?
but the fact that it's legit now, I am so excited for this. This could be really, really goddamn funny.
Well, the thing that's funny about the 21 Jump Street series is it's poking fun of itself the entire step of the way.
Yeah, and ultimately, I mean,
it's a giant inside joke.
Like, the 21 Jump Street movies should not have worked. And they did. I mean, Channing Tatum is one of my favorite actors now because he's really damn funny. And Jonah Hill, when you give him the right script, that guy is mad. Hell, he's been nominated for like Academy Awards. So clearly, there's gonna be something good here if the script's good. Now, I hope Tommy Lee Jones and Will Smith will find a way to cameo, because you know they'd be stupid not to.
Well, I have a feeling that they'll get them to cameo, at least one of them, just like they did in the previous 21 and 22 Jump Street films, where they've had, you know, somebody from the original Jump Street show up.
Yeah. I mean, I can't see them not having Tommy Lee Jones show up for at least one scene. And Will Smith seems like the kind of guy. Well, then again, he did say no to Independence Day 2. So, I don't know. Oh my God, please don't have your son Jaden in this.
Well, I think it would be funny is if at the end they see Tommy Lee Jones, you know, Agent K, sitting in the diner eating a piece of pie.
Or something like that.
And then he says, "You're blocking my view, Slick."
That would work. Or maybe if they could... What happened to the woman? Oh, that's right. She went back to the doctor's office or whatever. Laura, whatever the hell her name was.
Yeah.
Which, Men in Black, that's a franchise I really wish it kept going, but the third one kind of ran out of steam.
Well, the third one, I think, wrapped it up really nice for those two actors.
Yeah.
The second one was...
Points.
Yeah.
I mean,
the third was really good, though.
But yeah. You know what? I remember seeing Men in Black in theaters. I also saw that in theaters like 4 or 5 times. I actually remember falling asleep in it once. Because I just come back from camping and I was so utterly exhausted. I was like, I want to go to the movie.
You want to know the only movies I've ever seen in the theater more than once? In the past, like, 15 years?
What?
The Pirates of the Caribbean films.
Really?
2 and 3. Yep, I saw them in the theater more than once. I think I saw them 2 or 3 times. It's the only time I've ever been to the theater 2 or 3 times, but I think at that time when those came out, I had nothing better to do with my time, and there were no other good movies out at that particular time frame.
Wow, Steve, that's a new level of sad.
Yeah.
Every
Every other movie I've wanted to see, I've seen at least once in the theater. I mean, I watch it upteen times between, you know, theater and disc release, and then by the time it's on disc, like, I watch the crap out of the disc, so... Like, I've already seen Star Wars The Force Awakens like 6 times.
Let me see. When I know I've seen... I see most of the Marvel movies in theaters at least twice. I remember seeing The Dark Knight probably about 4 times in theater because my friend Pierce was so ridiculously into it, him and my former roommate Dave. But I'm trying to think of... In the last couple years, the only movie I've seen in the last year... more than once was Star Wars. Because I saw it once in 3D, then once in 2D. Much better in 2D. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Yeah, that's probably about the only other thing I kind of wanted to bring up was that. So looking forward. Oh, well, I guess as a minor note, Ben Affleck has been confirmed to direct and star in the standalone Batman movie, which is a really smart move. We talked about this on Twig. Evidently, for Batman v Superman to be considered profitable, anything less than $1 billion is catastrophic, considering how much they've spent on it via marketing and everything else.
Yeah, they haven't even made their money back yet.
Yeah, I think currently they're sitting at just under 800 million, 300 million domestically. And that's in over, it's going to be a month in a week and a half. The movie came out on the 25th. So it's been out a while now. When you think about how quickly Star Wars reached this or the Avengers, it's obviously lost its steam, and it had I think last week it had a 68% drop off, if not higher.
Yeah, The Boss beat it.
Yeah, and that's definitely telling. Although it's really funny though, just to watch people defend this movie like it's their religion.
I will say I did enjoy it overall as a whole, and like I said, I defend just those three aspects of those characters, all the stuff that they had in them, except for Martha. Yeah, I'm not denying that it's not a good film. Was it entertaining? Yes. Did it make any sense? Not really, but it was still fun.
I mean, one of the things that, and this is my biggest criticism of it, is the two arguably largest pop culture icons in history, Superman and Batman. These names, you can show these to tribesmen in the middle of nowhere jungle, and I'm pretty sure they're going to recognize the Superman symbol or the Batman symbol. You show this anywhere around the world, people know. Mm-hmm. This movie should be making well over $2 billion when you really break it down. My problem with it was it doesn't inspire hope. When I think of Superman, I expect that the illegal immigrant who accepts everybody and wants to save everyone. Batman, knowing what happened to his parents is wrong, yet going out there every single night to do the right thing so it never happens to anybody else. Zack Snyder's world is a needlessly depressing misery slog. Not what I expected of the world's finest. That's my main problem with it. And with the Ben Affleck solo film, if they were to adapt any story, you're not going to see him do The Killing Joke because of the DC animated movie, which is coming out.
Which
looks amazing. But if he did Hush, I would be so on board with that.
You know what I want to see? I want to see villains we haven't seen yet.
Exactly.
Hush would work great. I'd love to see Clayface.
Yeah, I mean, just imagine the possibilities that opens up. Or give me, I mean, ultimately, you'd have to jiggle it around. But give me an adaptation of the video game Arkham Knight. Have him fight Red Hood. Or the Arkham Knight himself. I don't care. I just think that costume design looks cool. But the possibility is there for this to be really awesome. So, Ben Affleck, he's obviously proved it with The Town and Argo. He's knocked it out of the park with the Batman role. So, I don't think we have a whole hell of a lot to worry about there in terms of what he'll bring to the DCU. But in terms of the other movies, I hear, despite what people are saying, the Suicide Squad reshoots are not going well. I actually have an inside track on that. And the Wonder Woman movie, which is well into probably editing by now, it's supposedly not a very fun film either. I think DC backed the wrong horse by making their movies so
dark,
grim and dark. Grim and dark works for a character like The Punisher, works for a character, to a certain extent, Batman. Grim and dark does not scream Superman to me.
Well, they've tried to reinvent him too much.
Yeah, and that's what I want the DCU to recognize. Is not everything has to be depressing. I mean, I would love to see an action-packed, not necessarily dark and grim, Aquaman. Aquaman is the movie I'm the most looking forward to outside of Wonder Woman.
Because everybody realizes he was kind of crap before, and now they're gonna beef him up. And
well, the fact that everybody looked at him and saw fucking Super Friends, and now you look at him, that's Jason Momoa, that's Khal Drogo from Game of Thrones, man. That guy's a boss. He should be wicked in this movie if the script's good. And just to have him fight, say, like Black Manta or Tiger Shark or something, could be really, really, really awesome. Or have the Battle for Atlantis storyline be the big thing. So there's some really, really awesome chances for DC to bounce back. I think Suicide Squad will be really telling of how the public's going to react to the DCU, because if Civil War, Marvel hits it out of the park like they're expecting.
Oh, they're going to.
Like DC, they're going to get backed into a corner sooner than they think. And I think even the fanboys are going to have to take off the blinders and say, hey, man, maybe we shouldn't have trusted this Zack Snyder kid to run our universe. Now, admittedly, I liked 300. I really liked Watchmen. But how do you screw up adaptations, right? They were already written. He brought his style to it, and it worked. When you give him his own stuff, you get Sucker Punch. So I'm worried, and I don't like that. I really want something good to come out of this, and at least Ben Affleck will deliver something good, providing they don't interfere with him too much. Mic drop.
Yep. I totally in agreement with you. I'm a huge DC fanboy, but I can't defend it.
And that sucks too, because one of the things that broke my heart about BVS, a friend of mine, a very big YouTuber by the name of Angry Joe, he reviewed it, and I've hung out with this guy in person. I've talked to Superman with him once or twice. And to see a guy look so defeated about a movie he should be so excited for, that breaks my heart. And there's a meme on Facebook that sums it up perfectly. It shows the Richard Donner Superman, and it shows Clark talking to Pa Kent, and like, son, you have great power. You can help these people. You can bring hope to the world. Then it shows John Schneider and Tom Welling from Smallville having a very similar conversation. Zack Schneider, Kevin Costner, Henry Cavill. Should I just let those people die? Maybe. You see the problem here? Mm-hmm. That perfectly sums up DC's problems right now. Reinventing the wheel is cool when it works. Reinventing the wheel and now it's on fire is very, very bad.
Yeah, one of the topics we'll talk about in the coming weeks is the rebirth.
Oh.
I'm still digging into research on it. I got that free book, the 96-page free book today.
Yeah.
I went and picked it up because I want legitimately to see some of what they're trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm trying to figure out what they're changing, what's happening. You know, some of the characters are, they're canceling comics, they're rebooting, it's a reboot within a reboot, so it's getting really weird now. But yeah, so anything you want to bring up before we close out? And I go to my next segment?
Let's say, hoping to get back in the studio this weekend. As I've mentioned before, I've now turned Nerd News into going from Fridays on to just generally on the weekend, so I'm not so rushed anymore. Hoping to get back into the vibe of recording Botched Roll. I admittedly had a bit of a depression about it. I think I've kind of come to a revelation with it, so I'm hoping to share maybe how role-playing saved my life might potentially be a topic for the weekend. But also, like I said, These Warriors Are Terrible, or terriblewarriors.com. I'm always doing stuff with them. So you can, right now, I'm playing in the Star Wars game, and I think the next game, like I said, the 2 games I'm planning are Dungeons and Dragons Ravenloft, which will be for something we're announcing hopefully in the next couple of weeks, and the Dragon Ball Z Sailor Moon, potentially with Kamen Rider in it. So we'll see what happens with that. So that's pretty much what I'm doing this week in Geek.net. Of course, you can hear me over on AM 640 in Toronto on Video Game Sophistry Sundays at 7 p.m. If not, you can go to AM 640's website. I think it's 640toronto.com/VGS. My reviews are over there. The last game I reviewed was Quantum Break for the Xbox One and Windows 10.
Nice. So, yeah. I will catch you in the next clip.
Woo!
Welcome to the Wicked Radio Network.
Want to interact with the show? You can contact us in the following ways. You can call the voicemail line 502-526-5821. You can email us feedback@geekcastradio.com. You can visit the episode post on geekcastradio.com or alteredgeek.com. You can get a hold of us on Twitter @AlteredGeek. Look for us every week on geekcastradio.com, of course, Stitcher Smart Radio, iTunes, Blog Talk Radio, and alteredgeek.com. And now, back to the show.
And we're back. So a little hint of things to come. In the coming weeks, I will be having 2 topics that I want to cover. One of them being the DC Comics previews, which debuted some of the new designs for the DC Universe Rebirth, the life, death, and the threat no one saw coming. It goes with their character designs, the new storylines, the new character bios, all that fun stuff, and how the Justice League has been kind of shaken up a little bit. I'm kind of interested to see what they do with this story arc. But obviously, I'm not all the way through the previews issue yet, the 96-page free thing for DC Comics. I'm wanting to kind of delve into it a little bit more before I actually make any comments about it, though. I just find it funny, though, that we've had 3 different DC Comics universes in the last, 6 years. Because in 2010, they ended... Well, actually, 2011, they ended the standard continuity and then rebooted to the New 52, or maybe it was 2010. But either way, they rebooted, and then now they're rebooting again. So, I will say that I enjoyed New 52 when it first started because it was a new starting off point. However, when it progressed and it got closer to where it's at now, I haven't cared. Not saying that the stories haven't had a few good ones here or there, but I don't see that many of them being that great that I've read. However, I'm hoping that trend changes with the Rebirth saga, so I'm going to be picking up the issue 1s again, just like I did when New 52 came out back in 2011. So, yeah, look for that. I'll have that little bit soon coming up. Also, there's another bit that I've been wanting to kind of tackle, There's that thing with the content creators or people, in general, just it has to do with so what are your thoughts on people using Patreon, GoFundMe, and all this stuff to do I kind of want to hear both sides of it, the good and the bad about it, because I kind of want to talk about it, but I want a little bit more discussion points and counterpoints on either side of it. So if you have any thoughts, just kind of drop those in the episode post. In addition to that, I thought I'd let everybody know I just pre-ordered the Transformers Masterpiece Optimus Primal. And with shipping, it costs $130, which is kind of a bit much, but I definitely am looking forward to this figure. I really want it because it's Beast Wars. I was going to get the Titans Return Scourge, which is $30, but unfortunately with shipping, because the website I was buying it from because I had the in-store credit from the previous figures I traded in. I was 2 cents short of getting free shipping, and I really didn't want to spend over the $150 because I already had a $100 credit, so I didn't really want to put any more money in there. And so unfortunately, maybe the scourge was like $20, something like that. Maybe it was, I don't know. Anyways, I still had, I was still 2 cents short, and there was nothing that was like a couple bucks that I could just tack on to get it over the free shipping allotment. So, yeah, it kind of sucked on that end. But I am looking forward to that, and when I get it, I'm going to do an unboxing of the figure and do a review of it on the video Altered Geek, which I will embed on the podcast web post version. Maybe I'll do an Altered Geek live coming up soon. I'm kind of really wanting to try out Blog Talk Radio's Altered Geek, or not Altered Geek live. Their kind of live call-in type setup. So if anybody's interested in that kind of a setup, I could try doing that, or maybe a Google Hangouts again. I'm really wanting to toy with coming back to having some fun, some community stuff, and maybe show off some of the figures that I've got. And maybe if you guys want to join in, we could do that as well. Kind of swap stories and show our collection or aspects of our collection. It'd be something fun to try. I'm probably going to be having a guest next week, maybe for a short segment. It just kind of depends. So yeah, we'll be back with another clip.
Hi, this is Pat Fraley, purveyor of Duck, Dog, and Villain voices. And you're watching Altered Geek.
I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I hope it's not too long-winded for you guys. I hope you enjoyed the segments. If you have any questions or anything that you'd like to drop in the comments section, or email me, feedback@geekcastradio.com, or contact on Twitter @AlteredGeek, or myself @SCP21. Feel free to do so. So until next time, I've been Steve Megatron Phillips saying get altered, get geeky with the Altered Geeks.